But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
But does anyone see that? No. Does anyone care about that? No. All they see is an aggressive black girl talking.
I told you when you started, the guys who last in this business are the guys who fly straight, low key, quiet. We're the guys who want it all.
Let us please bring to the podium the Honorable Prime Minister, the Reverend Dr. Jamal Bryant, who is the organizer and the great visionary behind the Target Fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all of you. Let me take a moment in the middle of Women's History Month to say I never had the opportunity to breathe the same oxygen as Fannie Lou Hamer. I never got to meet Sojourner Truth or to know Harriet Tubman. But working alongside Nina Turner and Tamika Mallory puts me in the center of history to point to my daughters to say, this is what super bad sisters look like. And I am grateful. Always in the civil rights movement, it has been Black women who have done the heavy lifting. And so I want to take a moment just to salute and to celebrate my sisters who have really been the heartbeat and the brain trust of this movement. Can we celebrate them for the work that they do? I am grateful. They are not colleagues or co-workers for me. They are my sisters, and I love them. We are sisters and brothers in every sense of the word. We fight, we argue, we disagree, but we kiss and make up by the next day, and we're grateful. In that same heartbeat, we owe a debt of gratitude to Bishop Leah Daughtry, who has been an abiding force and a mentor and a coach and advisor and a consigliere in so many ways, and a therapist to make it happen. I wanted to rise today, just 72 hours after the 61st anniversary of the March from Selma to Montgomery, to recognize the life and the legacy of Bernard Lafayette and Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, who both respectively helped pave the way for the cement that we now stand on. I'm grateful that Ecclesiastes is right, that there's nothing new under the sun. Reverend Jackson said many years ago when he was launching the Wall Street Project, that we've got to move from the racial battleground to the economic common ground. This is serendipitous for us to be here today, and I wanted you to be mindful. And before we talk about trade, the impact is because of like-minded people who understand the Kwanzaa principle of collective economics. And I am appreciative for all of you who have stood in lockstep with us, many of whom you've never shaken our hands, you've never hugged us, we've never met you, but you caught hold of this vision that doesn't belong to any of the three of us, but it belongs to the entire community. We asked Target for 4 things, and in quaking trepidation, I have to say, in the presence of Senator Turner, we asked for 4 things more than a year ago. And I am fatigued that it's taken us this long, almost 400 days to report back to you. I wanted to just give a reminder to what those 4 things were so that you'll know where it is that we stand. We asked that there would be a reimagination of diversity, equity, and inclusion. That while it is that this administration seems to be allergic to every person having a seat at the table, we wanted to know, where does Target stand? Secondarily, while it is that Target has found itself prominently placed on predominantly white institutions, there was no presence with HBCUs. And so we wanted to know, where are you with that? Senator Turner enunciated what it is that the former CEO, Brian Cornell, articulated after the murder of George Floyd, a commitment to $2 billion being invested into the community. We wanted to know, where were they in honoring that? And lastly, with all of the money that the Black community invests into Target, would they be open to expanding the capacity for access to capital by investing in Black banks? For the moments that are entrusted to me left, I want to go over the 4 things that Target has completed and what left remains incompleted because we have not been able to bring you up to speed.
Welcome to the show, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming out here. We got to talk about Pastor Bryant. This nigga done stole black women's movement, y'all. And on the one hand, I'm kind of like jaded when it comes to these black protest movements. You know, like, you niggas been boycotting Target all this time. I hadn't really noticed, for one. And two, what was I supposed to get out of it? Like, what's really in it for me? I wasn't really much of a Target shopper anyway. I think Target is a place where, like, you know, the few times I've been in Target, I've mostly been by myself. And when you do see guys in Target, they're almost always with their women. It's a place for chicks, really. It's totally a chick thing. And while I do, as a representative of the patriarchy, on the one hand, I do think I have to commend him for just stealing their movement, taking their money. You know, that was a nice move. I really do want to commend him on how he just came in front of black women's movement and was like, all right, I'm good now. I got the money. I'm out. Movement over. They paid me. You girls can go back home now. That was a real dope move. I really got to tip my hat to him on that. Way to flex on a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Way to stun on a broad. He really just came in. He swept in, was like, oh, I like this protest y'all got going on over here. It's mine now. Thank you. And what I'm hearing on the internet is a lot of anger right now, a lot of bitterness, a lot of seething right now. They're mad that he just declared their protest over, and black women don't feel like they got anything out of it, y'all.
Nigga, please.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Negotiate everything. Number one, we do not have a quote unquote black leader who can go into a company and take a check on behalf of all the black people. No. Those days should be over. Mm-hmm. And if Target and all these other companies were dumb enough to give checks to people that you think can move the needle, you're about to find out that you've miscalculated what this is right now. Mm-hmm. Number one. Number two, we also have to hold those same people accountable. Stop going in rooms and making deals.
Yeah, and
for your cronies, for your people. This ain't right. And people who have never built anything outside of an offering plate.
I think the problem is, though, that he is a man, a black man nonetheless, but he is a man. And had this been a woman who stepped in front of the movement and spearheaded it and then said, oh, well, this is what we got, this is what we're walking away from, I think they would all be fine, honestly, because the problem is what she just said effectively. There can and nor will there ever be a true king of the Negroes. And that's the only person who could arguably speak for all, if not the vast majority of Black America. You would effectively need a king of the Negroes type figure. And you just aren't going to get that. That's just not how it works. And I think maybe having a king is probably what Black folk need to kind of whip them into shape, but it's just not going to happen.
I'm saying,
it's not even like you sat down and tried to have a community conversation before. You want to have a town hall after to tell me what the results are, but I wasn't a part of the opportunity to discuss it before. And so, going back to your statement that you said before the break is like, what does it take to build? What does it take to put something together that serves the community, that is actually useful? I think we have to get back to the idea of communing. I have to be willing. I live in a walkable neighborhood.
What does that even mean? Got to get into the idea of communing. You a bald-headed bitch. Don't nobody want to commune with bald-headed bitches. Like, that's not how communing works. Like, when I see bald-headed women, I instantly think anti-community.
I talk to the people that I go. I don't just roll up in my CVS. I talk to the people when I go to my CVS. I talk to the people I get my boba tea from. I talk to my dry cleaners that I go to. I talk to the people that are down at the front desk in my building, because I think it's important for you to know who I am.
Do you talk to your man? Do you talk to your in-laws? Do you talk to your relatives? You talk to everybody but the people you kin with. That's wild.
I am, for me, me to know who you are, because when something happens on the street, I know somebody and I know how to move around that. And we don't have that anymore. So it feels like, because you can hop on the internet and get a ton of likes, that you have the authority to go in a room and make a decision for everyone. And that's not the way that it doesn't work that way. Now,
how does it work then? In this new community, this Keisha-led community full of single, bald, bitter women, how does it work? Explain to us the rules, because the problem is, right, you have this, quote, boycott, where, again, I really didn't even know Black people were boycotting. How come nobody hit me on my Black line and told me that we were boycotting Target? It's not like I go there anyway, but I would have, I would have paid attention to it at the very least. So you had this boycott thing happening, and you're supposed to have an off-ramp to things like this, right? Meaning a boycott wasn't intended to last forever. You were never intended to just be bitter forever and ever and ever about a thing. You were supposed to have a specific set of demands, actions, and behaviors that you can extract from your target, and that would end the boycott, right? It sounds like he achieved that.
You're on the receiving end of, hold on, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. And now you've got to figure out how to navigate that. And it's because you were performing community, not actually building it. There's a big difference. And we've gotten disconnected from that.
Yes and no. In the case of a Jamal Bryant, he could argue that he has a community, he has a church. People show up every Sunday. That's big,
but not to speak for everybody about Target.
I agree. But in his mind, his church is big and powerful. It's got big and powerful people in it, and and
he got a social following, so he thinks he's reaching them too.
Correct. And because we live in this sort of world, why would no one's ever checked this before?
Yeah.
So you get to walk through. I mean, this has been going on for far too long. We just laid to rest Jesse Jackson. But, in the wake of that, the media and others have always kind of held up one singular person that they would then, deliver the message to, go tell your people this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. But this is not where we are right now. And we should never have been there, if I'm being honest. And to your point, I think of it like everybody who lives somewhere, what you need in Texas is different than what I need in New Jersey, even though we might both be Black. We might both be Black women, and we might both need some similar things, but the nuances of location and the nuances of even culture can inform. So that's why you got.
And there you go. You just blew up the entire cause for Black unity. How can there be broad Black unity when we have so many regional cultural needs, wants, and differences, right? The problems of somebody in like urban New York City, for example, aren't even the problems of somebody in like urban Memphis, Tennessee, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There is no real unified broad Blackness as far as like individual concerns go. But that's why they have to keep trying to tie all the Black vote together in this like artificial construct, because what else are they going to give you? If they can't tie you to Blackness, they have to offer you something that actually makes more sense. They have to really give you, quote, tangibles. And isn't that the ironic thing of it all? There isn't a real broad Black tangible. That's why they keep trying to sell you this idea of reparations, because there is no true broad Black tangible. But if you start to get down to a local or even a state level, maybe you could get to some kind of tangibles, but it wouldn't even necessarily be a Black thing. These would just have to be better state policies. And God forbid you actually run you run your state government better. God forbid you clean your house, you know?
You know, move a little differently. This is not the way forward.
You got to move somewhere outside of on the internet. Like, like there's too much reliance on the internet. There is not, first of all, we don't even have social agreement about what a like means. And let me give you an example of what I mean by that. You think you've gotten a ton of likes behind something, but what you don't understand is that you posted a story. My like could mean that I read it and I thought it was interesting. Your like could mean that you read it and agreed with the perspective. Someone else's like could be, hey, I'm glad that this is being reported. Someone else's like could be, I am liking it because I don't agree. And I want to make sure other people get the chance to disagree. So you're looking at essentially the value of something that has no defined meaning, and you are moving as though that is support. It's not a functional system. It's not.
And now all of a sudden, Jamal Bryant doesn't have black women's support, which is, you know, the irony. Who do you think goes to all these churches, right? Who do you think puts all that money in all those little brass collection plates, right? Black women. And so it's not that he didn't have support. It's that he just had his own idea. And God forbid he's actually a man who has his own ideas. I'm telling you, I think that's the biggest problem of it all. Black women are just tired of black men doing things, period. How dare you be a man doing some shit?
I am thankful that we can claim in this hour that victory is ours. It was done because black people and brown people and conscientious people had a made up mind that we can make a difference and we can make an impact. And so could things be different? Yes, but things are better. And I'm appreciative. And sometimes we've got to celebrate small steps. And the question that has been asked of us over the last year, of 35 Fortune 500 companies who have walked away from DEI, why did we pick Target first? And the answer to that resoundingly is Target is the only one we invited to the cookout. They were the only ones we felt were kissing cousins.
You know, one thing I realized also about this DEI thing, and especially in the light of, I guess what we have is like a black female unemployment crisis. And really, I hear the black numbers are bad on both sides, but we only really cry about the women. And I think a big part of that on the women's side, especially, is the loss of DEI programs and access has translated directly to a loss of employment for a lot of black women, which kind of implies that a lot of these jobs were basically just freebie jobs, right? They were like, you know, black female adult daycare type jobs. You know, they were just paying you to show up and have another bullet mark on your resume. You can get another bullet point on your resume. But effectively, these weren't jobs that were like critical to any industry. They weren't critical to any kind of production line or anything like that. And so as soon as the free money runs out, jobs run out.
They are the only Fortune 500 company that got a hood nickname. We called them Target because we had let them into the house. And so it was not just a abandonment of DEI, but we felt as if it was a betrayal to it. We are effectively today closing this chapter because we have other fights that we've got to see and other things that we've got to tackle. But I'm grateful and I give God all of the glory for what it is that he's been able to do. So thank you for praying with us, marching with us, and standing with us. And stay tuned for the next fight. But this fight for us has now reached its conclusion.
Ooh, take the money and run. Come on now, take the money and run.
Pastor Jamal Bryant, who has become one of the most visible faces behind the campaign, is now calling for the boycott to end after what he describes as productive conversations with the company. Bryant says the pressure pushed Target to make progress on commitments to support Black businesses, job programs connected to historically Black colleges and universities. Let's listen to some of what he had to say.
It's been a year and I'm grateful. History has just been made. The most effective and powerful boycott by Black people since the Montgomery bus boycott 70 years ago. This new CEO has come handling business and I'm glad to walk with them. The immediate Target fast has come to an end.
You know, I heard, Reverend Bryant say that they got 3 of the 4 demands met, but in the USA Today article, it said that Target did not offer concessions or reverse changes at all.
As I spoke to local organizers in Minneapolis, Nakima Levy Armstrong, Monique Colors Doty, and Jelani Hussein, and they tell me that they launched the boycott last year after Target rolled back some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. And they say that those policies have not been restored, to your point. Let's listen to what they had to say.
This is what these companies like Target love. You know, they operate as colonizers. A lot of their strategy is to divide and conquer. When our community puts up a strong show of force, at the end of the day, who benefits from this confusion? It's not our community, it's Target that benefits. Because they may have some people who genuinely think that the boycott is over, even though Target has not lived up to any of our expectations.
What would make...
I'm so confused.
What would make Reverend Jamal Bryant call off a boycott if Target didn't meet any demands? And why would Reverend Bryant say 3 of the 4 demands were met if they weren't?
So he called initially for a 40-day fast from Target, not the original boycott that the local organizers.
What's the difference between a fast and a boycott? I mean, it's like clever branding and marketing, I guess, but I guess this is how you know he came in intending to steal the movement, because he came in right away and just put his own label on it. He's a slick dude. You can learn from him. This is how you keep these women down, y'all. This is how you keep Black women down. You jump in front of their movement and then you slap your label on it. It's mine now.
In Minneapolis started, so that 40-day fast turned into a 400-day fast, as they said that some of their demands were not met. When I talked to Dr. Lemi Armstrong and Monique Colors, they were saying that some of their initiatives got tied into what Dr. Bryant had wanted as well. But as far as they're concerned, nothing has changed. The boycott is still on. Dr. Bryant is saying that that is not the case. That the fast is over. He's calling it a fast. He's not saying the boycott is over. He's saying that the fast is over. And I did speak to Tamika Mallory this morning, and she did give me a statement, and she said that no one group gets to call off the boycott. She said that she nor any other group has the authority to say that the boycott has ended. The initiative that started by Dr. Jamal Bryant.
If there's nobody in charge, then what are you even caving to? It seems like Jamal Bryant, again, because he's the only man that even understands things. He was like, look, you might as well get something out of it. Take the money and run. I'm taking the money and I'm running. You bitches don't want to run? Cool. And so he took the money and he ran.
And a year ago has concluded, which is the fast.
And salute to Reverend Jamal Bryant. He's definitely a friend to the show. He has to know how that's going to look to the grassroots organizers like Dr. Armstrong and Monique Colors. And the fact that Tamika and Nina are saying the boycott is still on, but Jamal saying it's off. That's going to make a lot of people feel like Reverend Bryant got paid off. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying I know that's what people will think. That's probably the narrative now on social media. If I go,
well,
look.
I've seen it doesn't sound right because they're not on the same page. That's the crazy part.
I think he went back and forth with the fast, because even if you listen to the clip that I played in the very beginning, he called it a boycott. In the very end, he called it a fast.
Well, I hope he not lying, because last time he came up here, he told me to stop lying.
But
So
somebody need to tell you to stop lying.
No, but
that was very good advice.
Lying.
That was God talking through him. That.
All right, well now God is telling me to tell him the same
Jamal
thing.
Bryant from Baltimore, right?
That's my man.
Yeah.
So hey yo,
yeah.
Shout out to the good Reverend out here keeping these strong Black women down. And he was out here. He was putting in the work too. You would have never seen it coming.
This is the very first time in 24 years that magazine has deemed Target as not a viable company. First time in 24 years. It came out yesterday in magazine. They are not listed after 3 down quarters. Y'all got to come to the table.
He was
Lou Hamer said if you don't have,
he was working hard out there though. He was out there trying to get that money.
have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. But one way or another, No deal of significance is going to happen without you being included, without you being counted. This is the very first time in 24 years that magazine has deemed Target as not a viable company. First time in 24 years. It came out yesterday.
I'm trying to tell you, he was out there trying to really pump up the cause, make sure everybody understood he was the reason for the season, you know?
When we first spoke, it was when you were in the very early days of this. And now here we are, the Target CEO saying he's not satisfied with the recent performance. He attributes it in part to the quote, updates they shared on belonging. What's your response to that?
That all of this is avoidable. Bryant is fully aware that the African-American spending dollar has a whole lot of muscle, and his betrayal to our community has repercussions and consequences. As a consequence, the stock has plummeted, that valuation has gone down, and even his own salary has been slashed, all because he's been dishonorable and not integrous with the Black community.
So how long do you intend to continue this?
Until something shifts. We've got staying power. We've got a model. The Montgomery bus boycott 70 years ago went 381 days. And our community is resolved and focused and intentional that we're not going to spend our dollars where we're not honored and where we're not appreciated.
So other companies that have scaled back their DEI programs to varying degrees include...
I ain't gonna lie, now that the boycott's over, I feel like I should go buy something from Target. Just to show my support, just to help keep Keisha down.
Lowe's, McDonald's, Walmart, Amazon in some respects. So are you looking at expanding this beyond Target?
Oh, no, we're very clear. Over 17 companies have walked away from diversity, equity, and inclusion. But we decided with resolve and intentionality that we were going to do one at a time. Target is the first, it is not the last. And another company is going to be coming on the radar in the next couple of weeks.
In the next couple of weeks, there'll be another one. All right. So I want to ask you one thing, though, when you talk about the power of the Black dollar, and it is just the flip side, right? That you're showing that power when it comes to Target, but there are Black entrepreneurs who are also selling at Target who are negatively impacted by this as well. A new report from the Wall Street Journal, they went through sales of Play Pits, which is Black owned. They said sales at Target of that product have fallen about 30% since April. Beautiful Curly Me also attributing reduced sales to your boycott. So
now, and this is really the deep, like hypocritical nature of this protest movement, right? On the one hand, you want more access for Black people. And then here you have Black people who've come up with a product, did all the research, all the back end legwork that they needed to do to grow their product, grow their company from whatever little kernel of an idea that it was into something that they could actually put on Target shelves. You don't understand. From start to finish, that process alone, just getting into Target, is a huge success. And to be like a quote Black owned business or a Black business period, that is allegedly the kind of growth and development you're supposed to be looking for. However, you go out of your way to crush these people. You go out of your way to actually hurt the people who are the Black success stories that you say you want more of. And you do that for what? So other people can get free shit.
what do you say to those business owners, right, who are members of the communities that you are, conducting this boycott on behalf of?
No, we're so mindful of them. That's why we partnered with the U.S. Black Chamber of Commerce. Over 250,000 people have signed up at targetfast.org. And when they do so, we send them a digital directory of over 150,000 Black businesses across the country. We want to support those businesses. We're just not going to do it at Target. And so we'll do it directly through them and through their online platforms. Additionally, over Resurrection Weekend, 5 mega churches transformed their space into mega malls, a bullseye Black markets. So 100 vendors would go into those respective cities and support. We want to see them thrive and we want to see them soar, and we're going to put our muscle and our money behind them.
If that was like really a viable thing, then the churches should just be doing that, right? Turn your church into a mall, pastor. Take that one to Jesus. See how that works out for you.
A group of grassroots organizers out of Minneapolis. That's where it is that Target is headquartered. It is also the scene of the crime where George Floyd was murdered. They began mobilizing to ask people in that city, don't darken the footsteps into Target. I watched it and I was awe-inspired. People around the country started posting, and an epiphany came to me that the church has got to be involved. A group of grassroots organizers out.
Nigga had an epiphany. You know when niggas have epiphanies, it's always about money. It's like, oh, snap, I need to get that money. Dollar sign started flashing above his head. He had an epiphany, and then he went and got the money.
I said, you got 1 week to send me in writing that the Baptist Convention stands with the boycott, stands with the oppressed, stands with the marginalized, stands with the nameless and faceless people who are on the front line. $75,000 Baptist Convention, I'll write you a check. You can't sell yourself out for $75,000. Something has got to break. Over the last couple of weeks, Target been playing in my face. Been hiring internet influencers to go online, rappers and artists and athletes to play and to broadcast outside of Target and in.
Target was hiring rappers? Which one of you niggas did a Target concert? Which one of you niggas did a show at Target? I have never heard. This is what they mean when they say hip hop is dead. You niggas is performing at Target. Was it like in the front of the store, or did you like set up a stage in the men's department? I have never.
Target thinking we ain't gonna say nothing, but you ain't got to talk directly to me. All you got to do is watch the rerun of The Color Purple until you do right by me. Nothing you do is gonna work. We will break Target, we will break Dollar General, and we will break any company that doesn't honor our dignity.
I know these niggas not boycotting Dollar General. How do you even boycott? All right, are you poor? Do you like, I mean, clearly this isn't a church full of poor black people, by the way. And only poor people go to Dollar General. And that's what Dollar General really targets too, right? The lowest income part of the community. We got the cheapest shit here, right? Everybody goes to Target. Everybody goes to Dollar General because you can't afford to shop at Target, frankly. So now you're gonna make life harder for broke niggas.
Why they trying to take our dollar? The devil is a lie. Something gotta break. I do not have ire with the black church because I recognize the fingerprints of satanic principality. It is the intention of the enemy for us to fight each other. I am not declaring war on any of those Baptist conventions. I am declaring war of the spirit of division. Come on, y'all ain't saying nothing to me. White supremacy takes delight at us fighting one another. But
here we go. It's always back to the white supremacy, y'all. It's always the white man.
I made assumptions that were not true. And I wanted to apologize to you for being a leader that was out of touch with what it is that the community wanted and sensed what it is that the community were demanding. It's much greater than those four, and I've heard you. overwhelmingly so. And not having a good read of the room, I take full responsibility of. I made assumptions.
Oh yeah. Now after he done kicked up all this dust on the internet, he took the money and ran. He got to do his Derek Jackson, my bad, I still love y'all black women apology tour.
But I wanted you to know that I've heard your emphatic outcry, that it wasn't just about those four, but Target, in the community's estimation, was a prime candidate for cancellation, saying no matter what happened, you were not going back. I was reading from a different sheet of music. I made assumptions that were not true. And I wanted to...
Nigga said, I was reading from a different sheet of music. See, because over here on my paper, it says, your money is my money. But over there on your paper, it said your money belongs to you. And that's where we got the discrepancy, because my paper says something totally different. That my bad. I didn't realize we was on a different paper wavelength.
Apologize to you for being a leader that was out of touch with what it is that the community wanted and sensed what it is that the community were demanding. It's much greater than those four, and I've heard you, overwhelmingly so. And not having a good read of the room, I take full responsibility of. I wanted to give redress to some things that
nigga said I didn't read the room. How you catch a nigga stealing in your house and he like, you know what? That is my bad. I actually didn't read the room. I didn't realize that wasn't cool. It's totally my fault. You know, I'm like autistic and shit.
I hope that you'll lend me the time to do it. I am the son of a pioneering womanist theologian.
Oh, now he got to hide behind black woman. First thing this nigga did is hide behind his mama. I am the son of a pioneering black woman.
But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
The late Dr. Cecilia Bryant. I am the brother of an amazingly brilliant sister psychologist, Dr. Tamar Bryant. I am the husband of a brilliant and insightful prophetic witness in Dr. Carrie Bryant. I am surrounded by brilliant, beautiful black women. And so in no ounce of my bones or blood would I ever try to co-opt what it is that black women are building. Just a week ago, when I had the humbling opportunity to speak at Reverend Jackson's funeral, in my remarks, I said that we've got to let black women lead. And that can find itself in all truth.
If you're supposed to be letting black women lead, what the hell just happened here? What the hell just happened, Pastor? I thought we were letting black women lead. Now, all of a sudden, you out here with your rainbow pinstripe suit on, talking about black women lead. Where's the money? Why you didn't lead them to the money, Pastor? Lead them, show them the money.
Even when it comes to this movement, publicly, privately, to the press, and in conversation, I have heralded out loud the remarkable leadership of Attorney Nakima, Representative Nina, and Sister Soldier Tamika Mallory. I think that they are incredible leaders. And I don't want history to record that I tried to stand in the way of the leadership of warrior women.
You got a problem. Let's hear from some of these warrior women while we're at it. Let's hear from Nakima.
Target Corporation, because on February 1st, we let people know we're entering year 2. of this nationwide Target boycott, because Target has not reversed its decision to roll back diversity, equity, and inclusion. They have been unapologetic. They've tried all these tactics. You remodeling their stores, bringing different brands in, making their employees smile more. They think all these things are going to get us to return to Target. And we said, absolutely not. You aligned yourself with an authoritarian regime and turned your backs on your most loyal customers. We are not going back into Target. That was our stance and still is our stance, even with these folks, namely Jamal Bryant, Tamika Mallory, and Nina Turner having this press conference yesterday. And like you said, Niel, you know, Jamal Bryant called for an end to the Target for no reason. Right. The Target boycott is working, right? And I want to just run down the effects so far.
Working toward what, though? If your point is to just destroy Target, which that's unlikely, but if that's your point, then there's no reason for anybody to talk to you about anything anyway, because you'll never come back anyway, right? So now, what's your actual point? What is your end goal?
Okay. People who may not have been paying attention. Target has lost over $15 billion in their valuation as a company. They've taken reputational hits since the start of this boycott. They've had to replace their CEO, Brian Cornell, with a new CEO. And before he was uprooted from that position and placed on the board as the board chair, he lost millions of dollars in compensation behind this boycott. They've had months of declining foot traffic since the start of this boycott. Their stock prices have declined significantly since the start of this boycott. So this boycott is successful. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be having people trying to co-opt it.
Now, I wonder if this boycott is really the cause of this giant dip in numbers for Target, or is this just something that's happening a little bit broader in the economy? Because it's not uncommon that just upward and downward trends take over, and sometimes your company just isn't doing great at the moment.
We wouldn't be having people in Washington, D.C. trying to act like they're running the boycott and calling for an end to it. Why would anyone do that when it is successful? When our people understand the value of us sticking together and using the power of the purse and being disciplined. Because you don't know how many people after we launched this boycott who got in my inbox or got in our comments, well, what about Walmart? What about Amazon? What about, and we're like, listen, God told us focus on Target. We're focusing on Target. If you want to focus on these other companies, you do that. We're doing what God called us to do. And we wanted to be able to measure the results of all of us sticking together. And that is what we have seen. That's why Target is scared. That's why they're desperate. That's why they got Jamal Bryant to try to call off the boycott. But the devil is a liar. The boycott is still going on. It's still going strong. It represents the power of the people.
I think that is
From my understanding, I heard that they received an NAACP Image Award as well. At least Jamal Bryant did. You know, as a result,
he did.
He got an NAACP award off of the Target boycott that he did not start. So think about that. That is a lot of social capital, cultural capital, awards. And I would say the most dangerous thing that happened during that time is him being allowed at the negotiating table on behalf of Black America. It is very dangerous to have someone who lacks integrity, willing to lie as a pastor out in the open, willing to co-opt a movement he did not start and manipulate the truth at the negotiating table for Black America. And
shout out to Pastor Jamal Bryant with the sudden betrayal. Who I never saw this one coming. He just totally backstabbed Black women, y'all. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about Target. targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
When my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Think about the outcome of that. You're at the negotiating table. You don't get any of what we're really asking for. So what do? Call a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., selling out our community and claiming the boycott is over. Who in their right minds would do that? We were winning. We are winning.
She said we were winning. We were winning. We were about to own Target. They were going to give us the whole thing.
That's right. We are winning. Unified our community has been in years, and this is arguably the most successful, if not one of them, right? Economic boycotts in American history.
Damn, son. She said they were winning. Why would you steal their win like that? Can Black women get a win? Can Black women win anything?
92%, please help me so I can go to sleep. I sat down here to make this video. Please stitch this video and help me answer a burning question and tell me why you think that pastor, that man, Jamal Bryant, and I know it's, I guess, an important church. I guess he's got a big following. Okay, please stitch this and tell me why you think he thought he could speak on our behalf. What is going on in these churches? What is going on with us in different corners of the world that I thought we had sort of left behind us? What is going on to make this man think that he could ever?
I'm telling you, it's only because he's the man. I promise you, if this was Oprah, if Beyonce had to pull this move off, if Jasmine Crockett had to pull this off, they wouldn't have said nothing. They wouldn't have said nothing. But only because he's the man, they're like, oh, who does this man think he is making deals on behalf of Black women? Right, because he's a Black man. He has no place. He has no authority.
Negotiate anything on our behalf, to accept empty promises of what they finna do on our behalf, and it's over. Please tell me why y'all think he felt like he could do that. What is going on in this church is that this man felt like he could do that. What do you think he was getting, allegedly, for negotiating this for us? Please stitch this and tell me who you think gave him the go-ahead and say, you should do it. Yeah, do it. They need you to do that, Pastor. That's your job. That's your role. Please tell me what y'all think. Y'all know I'm deconstructed. I'm way at...
Deconstructed? What does that even mean? Like in chick speak, what does deconstructed even mean? Is that another word for old? What does that mean?
I'm way deconstructed. Please help me. Please stitch this and tell me, answer those questions for me. Please. Thank you. So I can go to bed. Well, I was having a nice day today, too. Coach Kat took me to the beach. Thank you for stitching this. I really want to see what y'all think because I'm going to run away. It's like wild horses in here, but what I'm getting ready to run away with. See everybody bright and early tomorrow on the Sunshine Report to discuss all of this. 92%, please help me.
And who are the 92%ers, by the way? What is 92% reference? I'm out of the loop on that Black female designation. Who are the 92%? 92% of what, God damn it? What are you 92% of? I need help. I need a translator.
Good news, everybody. The Target boycott is over. Or so says the Wall Street Journal, the news of the people. And by the people, of course, I mean the corporations that they treat as people. According to them, the Target shopper boycott over its DEI changes is officially winding down. Activists who led the protests say that obviously there was a breakdown of trust between Target and the Black community, but that's officially over. Trust is back. The Black community loves Target again. The first question I have for the Wall Street Journal is a question I always have for the Wall Street Journal, which is, who said that? Now, part of the confusion seems to stem from the fact that a few days ago, Atlanta pastor Jamal Bryant went online talking about his own personal abstention from shopping at Target for Lent and other things. And some media outlets, some sources.
He gave up Target for Lent? Isn't Lent a Catholic holiday? Now, I don't really understand every individual faith tradition. Like, I don't know what the difference is between like a Methodist and a Baptist and a Calvinist and all these things. Like, I don't really understand, but I do know the Catholic Church has a lot of like long-standing traditions and whatnot, and I could have sworn Lent was one of them. Is Jamal Bryant a Catholic Southern Baptist? Like, what is him? Why would he celebrate Lent? I never knew that was really a thing.
Extension from shopping at Target for Lent and other things. And some media outlets, some sources took that to be an official declaration of the end of the boycott. Bryant has since come online to say that that is in no way, shape, or form what he intended to say, that the boycott, which was started by Black women, by the way, is very much not over. So what's interesting about this whole Target thing is that for those of us who have sort of been following the news from the beginning, we know that this came about specifically because of Target's changes to its DEI policy, right? Which came at a time when the current administration was kind of expecting everybody to bow down and sort of do as they said in terms of getting rid of DEI policies and just sort of writing off DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion across the board. I'm coming from academia, so I saw a lot of this from my own institution, from other institutions, just everybody suddenly doing what they were told, and rather than choosing to have a backbone and have a spine and support the communities that support these corporations, that support these institutions.
Isn't that how you got DEI in the first place? Because everybody did what they're told. They're still doing what they're told. That's how jobs go.
Sort of pulling the rug out from underneath everybody, often without an explanation, often really just doing what they were told before it was even really a mandate. Like, it was really just conversations that were starting. No one ever was actually forced to do anything, which we found out recently. But with regard to Target specifically, what I find really fascinating now is that Target is really putting itself out there in terms of flooding all of these news sources, including the Wall Street Journal, saying things like, yeah, we are investing so much money in turning this around. We've invested $6 billion, according to an article that came out today, in improving sales for Target, because our sales have been going down for weeks, if not months at this point. So in passing, you may think, cool, Target is growing a spine again. They're gonna, reverse their, reverse the reversal, I guess, of their DEI policies. And
what do Black women get out of DEI policies at Target, though? And like I said before, I think it's just directly about a jobs program. And then if you think about it, lower class, lower class, lower income Black women already work at Target. So who is this jobs program for anyway? Like, if you want Target to implement a DEI program, where if you go to any like urban or any close to an urban area Target, they have poor Black and brown women working there already. Everybody on the floor, Black and brown. Hell, there's some Targets you go to, you might as well learn to speak Spanish. Everybody's already poor, Black and brown. So who is the DEI for anyway? It's for college-educated bum bitches who can't actually hack it in the professional world without a handicap, basically. You have to give them the DEI handicap so they can get a nice job at Target in the corporate office, though, not on the floor with the poor people.
Sort of start to do the work to rebuild that connection and rebuild that trust with the Black community specifically, who has been driving this boycott. Of course, that's not what's happening at all. Target's big solution to this problem of lacking sales and broken trust is to bring in more technology and improve technology to improve their overall performance. A chief executive at Target telling news sources and investors earlier this month, apparently, that Target has lost its way and that people have been complaining about messy stores, high prices, and less exciting products. Not a single mention of the boycott, not a single mention of DEI. So what's the solution here that they're actually proposing? Shoving AI further down our throats, bringing in ChatGPT.
This is exactly what you get now. Now, look at this. So by putting pressure on the corporate end of Target to give more corporate goodies to Black college-educated women, you're actually making life harder for poor women who need the jobs. Those women need their job, their corporate job. I mean, I'm sorry, those women on the floor working regular retail end jobs at Target, they need that. They're a lot more desperate for that job than you are for your DEI handout job. But you see how that works, though. Because you can't get your DEI handout job, you're now going to have a lot of the people on the floor replaced with AI and robotics.
Incorporating more artificial intelligence into their platforms, better algorithms for forecasting sales, and continuing to invest in partnerships with massive technology companies. Because why not? If AI has no haters, I'm dead. I'm telling you that right now. But the fact that these companies continue to dance around the issue, completely ignore the issue, tells me that they're continuing to willfully ignore what is actually driving them into the ground, which is the fact that they have not done the work to repair the trust that they broke. And not only that, they have not done the work to show that they are actually committed to their customers and their clients, as opposed to current may or may not be fascist regimes that we know are actually pretty much fascist regimes at this point, right? I personally don't remember the last time I shopped at a Target, and I don't plan to shop at a Target in the near future at all. There's other places for me to spend my money. There's
You know, I'm starting to realize too, when you listen to especially like overweight, dysgenic leftist people, when they say things like fascism, all that really means in their mind, fascism to them is basically, we won't let you be gay, weird and gay in public. And honestly, they're not wrong. That's basically what fascism boils down to on a practical level. We will not let you be weird and gay in public, all right? If you must be weird and gay, please do that behind closed doors like a respectable weird gay. But no, you niggas want to be weird and gay everywhere, and now fascism is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. So, as you see this, a Target boycott ends with no concession to DEI rollbacks. And Jamal Bryant, Nina Turner, and Tamika Mallory took their asses down to do a press conference today to claim that the boycott was over and go over some of the concessions that they did receive. The problem with all of that, though, is Jamal Bryant doesn't speak for us, and he did not start this boycott. And it's really irritating how these people have these positions and they think because they pastor this and that or reverend this and that, they speaking for all the black people. So you don't went down here and negotiated some shit with Target that wasn't even what the fuck we asked for. And you weren't even really initially a part of this. You done negotiated some shit and then made a promise to these people that we coming back, and you don't waste their time because we're not, because you are not the speaker of the black folks. And that
who is though? If Jamal Bryant can't be king of the Negroes, then who is? I'm not saying I want to be the king. You got no, you do not want me as your king. All right. The beheadings would start immediately. But if he can't be the king of the Negro, who is? Because you need a king and a Negro to speak for the Negro, right?
That's the problem. They used to think Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson were the speaker for the black folks. Now it's like, Jamal Bryant, are you trying to move into this role of the...
Maybe it's Ayanna Presley. Maybe Ayanna Presley should be the king of the Negroes, because we know ever since the woman king, a black woman can be king too. And maybe a black woman should be king of the Negroes, and that'll shut these hoes up.
You think you the speaker of all things black? You're not. You're not. And we're not going back. And here's the thing. So they did not even offer a concession to reverse changes to the DEI policies because they're scared. So they wouldn't even do that. But they have a program that he's claiming, oh, they're going to bring this program Belonging out. The Belonging program was already out, sir. You didn't do nothing by doing that Belonging program because it already existed before you even came into the picture. As you can see here, Nikema Levy is even quoted as saying, how can you call off a boycott that was focused on DEI and you didn't get any DEI results? So you're standing up here jumping on the bandwagon of a boycott that was already going on, that was related to DEI, and didn't even get no results for DEI. And the people who actually called for the boycott are her. She's willing to hold them accountable. And then here's the problem. You get Target coming out with, we're pleased to be moving forward and we'll continue showing up as trusted neighbors. No, you won't, because we're not coming back. And I'm sorry that Jamal Bryant wasted your time, because we're not coming back. And that's why this right here, the Target boycott is not over. The reality is the black women that started this boycott, which are Nikema Levy Armstrong and Monique Color Doty, they're the two black women that started this, and they're the ones are adamantly saying this ain't over.
You know, ever since BLM, we've learned not to trust black women-headed movements anyway, which is honestly, as much shit as Pastor Jamal Bryant's getting right now, I just don't care. I just don't care. I'd rather him steal the money than have 3 college lesbians steal the money. I'm just team man, right? I am on team patriarchy. I would rather a man steal the money and run away with it than these lesbian bitches steal the money and run away with it, all right? I'm bitter and petty like that.
This black woman, and this is where we've got to stop. You cannot sit up here and jump on some shit and take the credit from a black woman, act like it was yours. Now you're getting all this press. And again, speaking for people that did not ask you to speak for them. We are not coming back to Target. Sorry that y'all wasted all this time doing negotiations or whatever it is y'all did, but we will not be back there. And that's signed someone who spent a lot of money in Target. Have not been back and do not plan to be.
That's okay. Your space in Target will be taken by Latinas. It'll just be filled up with Latinas now.
Did what, nigga? How you gonna end some shit you ain't started because they made a big donation to the National Baptist Convention? Black-owned companies lack distribution. Black consumers lack access to those black-owned products.
Sounds like skills issues again. You beating up on Target isn't gonna create a path in the market for your black business. All right, you're gonna have to figure it out the hard way.
We don't give a fuck about a distribution company solving anything but distribution problems. Fuck throwing money at community-based grants that many won't know about nor apply for. It's still fuck black entrepreneurs and black consumers, so it's still fuck Target. They can't stand the idea of creating a lane for black-owned companies to become big corporations.
SKC, you're telling me that in the year that black women in particular have been boycotting Target, Target stock has risen 10% in the last year? That is incredible. And you remember back in the 90s, what did Wesley Snipes tell us? Always bet on black, right? He was not talking about Keisha. We're realizing that always bet on black has its limits, right? The limit is Keisha.
Capable of supporting their own communities. They'd rather set up HBCU scholarships so we can work for their corporations. Target knows it was Nikema Levy Armstrong, founder of the Racial Justice Network, that started this boycott, but brought this big ass back.
Don't tell me theft went down too. Wait, are you telling me the stock price went up 10%, which is 10% gain for a big company like that over a year is actually great. If your company is making 10% gains year over year, your job is secure almost indefinitely, right? Now, if theft is going down and your company is raising its overall stock price, you're doing great. You're doing amazing. Bet on black, they tell you, huh?
Asked it to the table because they knew he could be bought. Nigga, nobody appointed you to nothing but the pastor of your church. Talking about some boycott over. Get out of my sight.
They didn't think we could do it, but
Oh, hi, this is part 2, Jamal Bryant, the Target boycott, and the fact that I knew that this was never about community unity for Jamal Bryant. It was always about a level up. If you need to understand, go to part 1. We're starting now. In part 1, I told you that my candidate had layers of overlap with Jamal Bryant that would make this a great interview. The number one as to why this would be a great interview and the interview would make sense. This community leader used to be a member at Jamal Bryant's church, Empowerment Temple. This local politician and community leader had already done community service projects with Jamal Bryant in Baltimore, Maryland in the past. My candidate's main talking points for his campaign was that he wanted to bring a grocery store to his city because currently where he was, there was not one, meaning that if you needed to go to the grocery store, just go pick up some odds and ends, you had to leave and go to your local store. What was the local store? A Target, meaning that he's not just a community leader who went to Jamal Bryant's church, who has already done community service with Jamal Bryant, but he was a community leader serving a largely Black and brown community, wherein that community actively goes and patronizes Target on a daily basis. Also want to say that at this time, I did a video about the Target boycott that did like 70,000 views in 24 hours. And in the comments, people were telling me that they wanted to support the Target boycott, but they lived in areas where Target was their only option for a grocery store or a store. So this story and this conversation had relevance outside of just this local politician's area, and again, would have been impactful for more than one reason. All of that, I was told, oh, Jamal Bryant is only doing mainstream media like CNN and Fox News for this. So you mean to tell me that Black women started a Target boycott, a Black pastor then put it on his back and said, I'm going to help lead this for my community, and then I bring you a community leader to have a conversation with a community leader who serves a community, who actively pours dollars into Target, into all of that, we're told we're only doing mainstream media. But wait, send over his following list and we'll see if he's big enough for Jamal Bryant. Again, less about the no and more about the fact that this is a cause that Black women started.
Is it just me, or is the gender war everywhere? Like, and I try not to just gender war all the time, but every night of my life, I gotta fight a bitch. I swear to God. Everywhere you look, it's gender warring.
This is a cause that happened and was able to thrive because of small communities. Whole time, the person who put it on his back won't go and have conversations with small communities. Instead, they'll go to places and give airtime to entities that have already proven that they don't have our community's best interest at heart. This Target boycott was truly about community unity. How come the community don't like that you just got up and ended it? Who said you could do that, Jamal? If you ask me, it's really smart, because if we don't host any town halls and if we don't speak to any small communities, when we get up and we do a press conference and we declare the Target fast over, I don't have to look anybody directly in the face because I didn't promise you anything. Oh, hi, this is part 2, Jamal Bryant, the Target boycott, and the fact that I knew that this was never about community.
In the midst of Women's History Month, I would like to acknowledge two sisters, Monique.
Well, it's Women's History Month. You stole a shit during Women's History Month? Oh, shout out to the pastor. He keeping bitches down during Women's History Month.
Get it again. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. I come in the name of Jesus. Repeat it after me, bitch. I come in the name of Jesus by the power of the Holy Spirit.
I would also like to acknowledge my brother, Jaylani. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 3 individuals who initiated the Target boycott in Minnesota. This boycott was not initiated by a pastor in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to tag them in this post, but I want you to understand something. This Target boycott started because Target rescinded on their DEI initiatives. It wasn't about money for something. It wasn't about money for this or that or whomever, whatever.
DEI initiatives are literally money for this, that, but it's money for a particular group. You think it's going to go straight to Black women, but I don't think that's how it's going to happen for you anyway. But a lot of Black women probably will get some money, but most of those jobs, most of those positions are going to go to like overweight transgenders.
And I don't know where they got all these billions and millions of dollars, because I know their stock plummeted and I know their sales went down during the initial stages of the boycott. But with all of that said, I want everyone to understand these 3 individuals are being overshadowed, overlooked, and pushed to the side. When you say you have 3 of the 4 requests that are being fulfilled, and the 4th request is what really started the initiative for the boycott, which is DEI, this boycott is nowhere near over, okay? I will continue not to shop at Target, and I will continue to support the 3 individuals who actually started and initiated the boycott. All right? Salute to you. Salute to all women during Women's History Month and months ahead. The fight continues. The boycott continues. We must make sure that these companies are held accountable for rescinding on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And women act like, black women are acting like DEI is literally an entitlement, basically. They are entitled to DEI. It's like written in the bylaws.
Dear Target, do you remember the last time 1,400 Black women kept a corporation alive during the worst economic collapse in American history? Oh yeah, Black women kept this man's corporation alive, and he did what? Fired all of them. Because who cares about Black women? Well, he had to find out the poor man's way. That we do. As the conversation around the Target fast and the Target boycott center Black women, if history is a judge, Target should know you never mess with a Black woman. Be Carey, born during Jim Crow in St. Louis, Missouri, where the law did not protect Black women, it protected the men who profited from them. At 18 years old, she was shelling 25-pound bags of pecans 9 hours a day on a Black-only floor, while white women did less work on a different floor for more pay. And since no one was coming to save these Black women, Carey said, hold my purse. Carey got one of her co-workers' brothers to host a meeting at his house, baby, and she told these Black women, guess what? The Nut Company ran 7 factories on the backs of underpaid Black women. And if they stop, the business stopped, and Nut stopped for the entire nation. And baby,
Black women stop nut for the entire nation. Black women gave the whole country blue balls. They will literally cause a blockage in your nut production line. This is an incredible moment in Black history. I never knew the power that Black women held over nuts.
factories on the backs of underpaid. Carey got one of her co-workers' brothers to host a meeting at his house, baby, and she told these Black women, guess what? The Nut Company ran 7 factories on the backs of underpaid Black women. And if they stopped, the business stopped, and Nut stopped for the entire nation. And baby Carey called that what? Pow! So 12 Black women demanded equity and equal pay from the CEO. And
12 Black women wanted to control the nut supply. And there was just one angry white man standing in their way. Why is everything so weirdly sexually coded right now? Yeah, listen, AI history is really like one-shotting so many brains right now. AI history is just cooking a lot of minds. I can't believe we're learning about the time Black women really tried to control America's nut supply, and the only thing to stand in their way was a righteous white man.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
CEO told them you already belong, but he would try. Sound familiar, friend? Carey gave him 3 weeks. Then she burst into his office with a brick and a Bible and gave him one more chance. And when he said no, 900 Black women walked out that day. The next morning, 200 white women joined them, and by day 2, all 7 plants were dark. The CEO got 90 Black women arrested, honey, hoping it would end the protest. But Carey kept going and marched 1,000 women into City Hall and forced the mayor to give Funston to the table. Carey wanted a $1 increase. The first offer was 60 cents, rejected. Second was 75 cents, rejected. The final was 90 cents, and that one, it was accepted. Not one woman moved until the demands were met. This was the first major labor victory of the Great Depression, and it was won by Black women. And the CEO cut jobs in retaliation, but eventually Funston closed forever. History didn't think real life Carey was worth remembering, but today.
So nobody has jobs now. Nobody has a job anymore. Isn't that crazy? You protested yourself out of anything. Now nobody gets to work, and everybody is apparently better off for it. It's funny how that goes.
No more money for you. It's lazy. You lazy. You lazy. No more money for you.
And shout out to Mr. Enigma with the 233. Real niggas believe in taking O's bag. Big facts, man. Shout out to Jamal Bryant for keeping Keisha down during Women's History Month. The nigga is misogynying on a level I have never seen before.
Give me the money. Oh, well, I was cute. Give me the money.
We got to make misogyny a verb, all right? When you're committing acts of misogyny, you are misogyning. I like how that goes, all right? Pastor Johnson is misogyning on levels otherwise never seen before, all right? Yeah, we just turned misogyny into a verb. Actively engaging in acts of misogyny. That's misogyny. Gonna put that one in the Urban Dictionary.
About this Target boycott, because we said what we said, like the boycott is still on, like F what Pastor Jamal Bryant is saying. However, I do want to add, like, this is why I maintain we need to decenter men, because I feel like if Tamika Mallory and Nina Turner are saying, like, we're not on the same page as Pastor Jamal, we're still boycotting Target, why would you go up there and be on that, panel with him? Why would you do a joint press conference where he speaks for 20 minutes and you speak for 2? And the times that you're speaking aren't even being broadcast or aren't even being republished on other sites. Like, I feel like you allowed yourselves to be a shield for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he knew he couldn't go up there by himself because he would feel the wrath of Black women as he's feeling now, but it would have been more without y'all being a shield. Like, it just didn't make sense. I also think it was just disingenuous. Like, nobody referenced Nikema Levy Armstrong. So it's really hard for me to believe that y'all are on some, I'm not going back to Target. Y'all should do what's good for you. But, power to the people? Nah. Power to your pockets. I don't really have much else to say about this Target boycott because we said what we said. Like, the boycott is still on. Like F what Pastor Jamal Bryant.
We are asking people continue to stand with grassroots leadership in the state of Minnesota, where Target is actually headquartered, and not clout chasers, not fake pastors, not fake activists trying to co-opt our work. These people have received awards from the National Association of the NAACP and the Route 100 for our work. So they have no...
Straight up took your shit. Pastor took your shit. Who do you tell when pastor take your shit? Because normally, if somebody in church takes something from you, you could like run it up the chain of command, the old ladies, the deacons, the co-reverend, then eventually you get all the way up to the pastor, right? But when pastor take your shit, who do you run to? You got to pray on it. You should pray on it. That's what you hoes need to do. You hoes need to pray on it.
Credibility. They don't speak for us. They didn't stand in the gaps for us when George Floyd was killed or when Operation Metro Surge happened. We stood for us and with the community. We speak for us, and we will never sell out our community for crumbs or a seat at Target's corrupt table. So we are asking people, continue to double down and hold Target accountable. The boycott continues. Thank you. We are asking people.
The Black community should not return to Target. Jesus Christ. When a corporation benefits from Black culture, Black dollars, and Black loyalty, but retreats the moment equity becomes politically inconvenient, it sends a message about whose support truly matters to them. Maya Angelou once gave the world this timeless warning: when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. For millions in the Black community, the retail giant Target has done exactly that. And now, after months of boycotts, declining foot traffic, and attempts to repair its image by throwing crumbs at the Black community, the question arises of whether or not now we should return because of said crumbs being thrown at our community. When corporations make choices about justice, equity, and inclusion, they reveal exactly where their loyalties lie. So why should I use my hard-earned money to make them richer and more powerful? I will not. This all started back in January of 2025. Target announced it would end several major diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and goals it had previously set. Target said it was responding to an evolving external landscape and political pressures following policy changes in Washington related to federal diversity programs, thanks to Trump the Chump, also known as the MAGA Initiative, to protect white privilege in place of equality, diversity, and inclusion. Changes included ending certain DEI goals that had been tracked for 3-year cycles, scaling back workforce and supplier diversity initiatives, halting or restructuring programs designed to support Black employees and Black-owned brands. These initiatives were not symbolic gestures.
But they already had Black-owned brands and Black employees. And again, having Black employees is a completely regional thing. It depends on where you set up shop.
They were created to address inequities in hiring, promotion, supplier contracts, and representation inside this major corporation. When they were eliminated, the message to Black consumers was unmistakable. Our response was swift. Community organizers like myself, preachers, and other community leaders organized boycotts, encouraging Black folks to redirect their spending away from Target and towards Black-owned businesses first, and other businesses that still stood behind diversity initiatives. The economic consequence was just as swift as our Black action. Target stock dropped significantly, and the company lost more than $20 billion in market value. Sales and foot traffic declined and are still declining since Black consumers pulled their dollars. In the US alone, Black consumers represent roughly $2 trillion in purchasing power, meaning where the community chooses to spend or not spend can move markets. DEI was created because white people couldn't be trusted to hire and promote fairly. So the government had to write it into law. Critics of diversity initiatives often try to distort what DEI stands for, but the concept itself is that straightforward. DEI is not about favoritism, and they all know it. It is about correcting structural barriers that have existed for generations to keep my people at an economic disadvantage.
And see, there it is. It's just a jobs program. It really is disability advocacy. That's exactly what it sounds like. We have to make set-asides for the slow kids, basically. They don't want to call it that directly by name, but that's exactly how it reads, though. Why does his shirt say BBC?
Without intentional efforts to address inequality, systems simply reproduce the inequities already embedded within this racist system. The cycle continues only if we let it. By walking away from Target and other corporations like it, replacing them with Black-owned businesses, we break the cycle for good. We could do away with the need for DEI if Black people were the #1 employer of Black people. Are we ready for that conversation? Are we ready for that solution? The truth is, we are consistently betrayed. For decades, Black consumers have supported major retailers with loyalty and spending power. Target itself once positioned itself as the brand that was progressive and inclusive, pledging billions of dollars toward partnerships with Black entrepreneurs and businesses. That is precisely why the Trump the Chump rollback felt like such a betrayal, because it was. For many in the community, that message cannot simply be erased with marketing campaigns or public relations statements, or getting Jamal Bryant to tell the Black community, it's over, we won.
So much bitterness, y'all. So much bitterness. I'm telling you, it's only because he's a man. That's the only reason why they so mad.
There has been some misinformation going on with the boycott for Target. So I'm here to clear some things up so we're all on the same page. The boycott for Target is up and it's stuck. Because apparently Target bought a reverend to tell us to go back to Target.
Immediate Target fast has come to an end.
Now, I don't know who that man is because I don't believe in serving the gods of my oppressors, but he does not speak for the community, nor did he start this boycott. Because remember, the 92% started this boycott, and the 92% represents Black women. Ain't no Black woman being led by a man, not in this day and age. For them to buy a Black reverend.
And there again, they keep saying it in little ways. She just kind of put it together bluntly. But that's the whole thing right there. Ain't no Black woman being led by no man.
Is because I don't believe in serving the gods of my oppressors, but he does not speak for the community, nor did he start this boycott. Because remember, the 92% started this boycott, and the 92% represents Black women. Ain't no Black woman being led by a man, not in this day and age. For them to buy a Black reverend to tell us to spend our money with them goes to show that they haven't learned their lesson. Oh, but they gave us $2 billion. And when are you going to take it back? You showed us who you were when you dropped DEI to appease your white supremacist base and then spat on our faces saying that you didn't need us anyways. And now you're coming back to us saying let bygones be bygones. I'm here to let you know that this boycott for Target is generational. And yes, there are some who still shop at Target. They were never the ones that stopped in the first place. But for the people who stopped, we already developed new habits. We don't need you anymore. But you tell me, is this boycott for Target over for you? Okay, so there.
You know, this is like a completely parallel, disconnected argument, but I just kind of, I want to talk about this for a minute because it has to be said. In order for the Black community to like grow going forward together, Black men really do have to bust Black women's bubble. They really do have to be brought down a lot. Because, I mean, they're really at the point of just open, hostile rebellion. What are you supposed to do with that? What are you really supposed to do with that? When they're just outright openly saying ain't no Black woman going to be led by a Black man, not in this day and age, there is no community beyond that. I'm telling you, everything you think you want, you're not going to get it as much as you thought you would. You're going to start to experience what they call diminishing returns.
Period. These people were nowhere in thought. These people were nowhere around. So again, I could give respect to Pastor Jamal Bryant for the leadership that he provided regarding this boycott, for being someone that the corporation could reach out to, for being someone that could list out the demands and articulate those demands to the corporation. He jumped on early in the boycott, but he didn't start the boycott. Let's be clear about that. Anywho, like I said, Pastor Jamal Bryant and the two other women gave a press conference with an update in regards to the Target boycott. They were letting us know that the Target boycott after 400 days has come to an end. Yeah. According to the 92%, even the 78%, no, the boycott continues. But I tuned in to the boycott, to Pastor Jamal Bryant's portion of the boycott, because he was delivering intangibles. He was giving numbers as to what Target has done to try to win back their Black shoppers. And so this is the information that was delivered by Pastor Jamal Bryant during that press conference. Okay. So it's supposed to total all that we are supposed to be getting, totals $2 billion, right? It's supposed to be a $2 billion investment. And here's what's included in that. $100 million will go towards grants and scholarships for Black small businesses. $10 million has gone to Pencil Lewis College, which was in danger of closing. And so Target stepped up because they were negotiating.
So what you're telling me is he actually did get some tangibles for somebody somewhere, right?
Things for Target to do as it relates to HBCUs. And so Target stepped up with a $10 million donation to Pencil Lewis College in Detroit, which is supposed to be an HBCU.
Or did they just give some money to some Detroit hustlers, man? I don't know. I haven't been to Detroit. I don't know what goes on up there. Maybe they gave the money to some Detroit hustlers. Some nigga named Detroit Red. I don't know.
I've never heard of this college. Y'all let me know your thoughts about it down below. $18 million is supposed to go to the United Negro College Fund. Listen, I've been hearing about the United Negro College Fund since I was this high. Okay. And I've seen all of the commercials. I know all that they claim to do as far as giving scholarships to Black college students all across the United States. I just don't know anybody. I don't know any Black, some, the collective of the 92.
Like I was saying, y'all, Pastor Jamal Bryant has stolen the movement from Black women. He took the money and ran. Now, you know how these things go. Ever since Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson kind of introduced this mafia tactic model to the Black protest movement, this is how it works. We put the squeeze on you. You start losing money. You start to get publicly shamed and embarrassed. And then you cut a check to my organization. You do a little fundraising. Shake some money on a little school, buy some backpacks, buy some turkeys, and we'll make this whole thing go away. Jamal is just sticking to the script. Jamal Bryant is sticking to the script. He like, listen, we did the move. We made the deal. I don't know why y'all bitches mad at me. This is the deal. Y'all should have stuck with me and got some money, but no, y'all wanted to stay angry. Y'all really wanted to stay angry, and now he took the money. He happy. He paid. Look at his look at his little rainbow colored suit. That's probably like Versace. That's probably like a $5,000 button up he got after the Target thing. Target bought that button up for him. Target bought a $5,000 button up for Jamal Bryant, and these bitches ain't getting nothing out of it. I'm just saying, shout out to the pastor for keeping Keisha down during Women's History Month. The nigga is showing me moves I never thought of before. I've been hating on the pastor for a while now, but I gotta tell you, as misogyny goes, kicking Keisha while she's in the middle of her Women's History Month, chef kiss, my nigga, chef kiss. It's an amazing time. It's an amazing time to be alive. Shout out to Messy Michonne in the chat. Good to see you stopping by. It's a crazy day. Where did the money go? We know where the money went. He wearing the money. I'm telling you, he wearing the money. Pastor is the freshest nigga in all of Christendom. Jamal Bryant is the freshest nigga in all of Christianity, bro. I'm telling you, that's where the money went.
Respect these people in their community roles as leaders in our community. Okay, the Target boycott leaders, and I will say I do think they were self-appointed boycott leaders. That's not shade. That's just the reality, because the boycott of Target organically grew online, I would say, from Black women. And then people who are in leadership roles in our community, church leaders, community activists, kind of helped to bring it all together and go to media and talk about what was going on, kind of give some voice and some language to it, and then also meet with Target leadership about the concerns from the Black community. So there is a need for that. This is not shade. This is not shade from me. But when I think about it, I didn't start boycotting Target because they said to. I started boycotting Target because I saw what it was. And like many other Black women were like, we ain't here too much. We got to play with us. So
What was it though? What was Target doing to Black women that was so awful? Like, can one of you ladies show me on the doll where Target touched you? I really want to know, what did Target do to Black women in particular that was so awful, other than take away your DEI daycare jobs program, which is, again, it's a jobs program for bitches that graduated college with degrees in Black studies and shit like that. It's a jobs program for the ethnic studies class. It really is. Because if you had useful, marketable skills, you wouldn't need to beg Target for a DEI job. You would just show up somewhere in corporate America with a resume that got you in the door.
Their leadership is not why I started boycotting Target. Therefore, their call to end the boycott doesn't change anything for me. So I will be continuing my boycott because what was of concern to me has not changed. Even in the news article shared by these folks, the headline says, boycott's over, they didn't get anything for it, basically. And so I'm reading it, and one of the people was saying, listen, they didn't change anything or roll anything back. And then Jamal Bryant, in one of the articles from you,
Snowman, why is it that every day you come here, you learn a little bit more about black jobs? Every day, accidentally, we discover a new type of black job. And you niggas still want to pretend you didn't know what black jobs are. That is hilarious. It's like a running joke now.
USA Today said, yes, nothing changed, but I read the belonging program, and that sounds like DEI to me. And I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. Once they canceled their DEI program, they instantly mentioned the belonging program. So that belonging program has existed this entire time. So to now say that, oh, they have this belonging program, I'm good, is a little weird to me. I don't know. Anywho, the belonging program, though.
Hey, you know what, Messy Michelle, I don't know if Jamal Bryant lied per se. I think he ran the play. Now, the play in and of itself is it's an extortion racket. So you can think what you want about that, but my contention is Jamal Bryant ran the play. This is the play. You isolate the target, you freeze the target, you extract resources from the target, you move on. That is the Black civil rights playbook. It was originally pioneered by, I think, Jesse Jackson, then Al Sharpton. He ran with it for a while. And now we didn't crowdsource the play to everybody in the game. Anybody can run the play. So I don't think he lied. I think he ran the play. Now, my problem, well, not problem, my position is this, though, and I would like you to answer. Tell me what you think about this while you're here real quick. It's only because he's a man. Black women are no longer in the mood to watch black men run the play anymore. If anybody's going to run the play, it's got to be one of these bitches. It has to be black women. That's the only play they respect going forward. If Jamal Bryant had been, a black woman preacher with her own crowd and congregation or whatever, and made the same exact move, they would have been cool with it. But because it's a man, we just don't feel like trusting you niggas no more. And it's real easy to make him the bad guy, which, not like I'm a fan of Jamal Bryant anyway, but still, it's because he's a man. I think it's because he's a man.
As I've said on here many a times, I work in DEI. The belonging program, a lot of corporate America are moving from labeling it DEI or DEIB or whatever. They're calling it belonging, employee engagement, and things like that. That's fine. But when you go and read their belonging program, I think it lacks teeth. It doesn't have any actual goals. So the original DEI program from Target had like clear goals, spend this much money, do this, do that. And then belonging was like vibey. It was like support diverse people, and with no actual goal or metric to measure if they actually are doing that. And so that's part of why the belonging was never enough for me, and why I always push back when people said, oh no, they have a DEI program. Yeah, they've pulled the teeth out of that program. So now Jamal Bryant is saying that is enough and the boycott is over. But again, as one of my friends so eloquently put, it's black women in Target. Black women. So until we say it's over, it ain't over. And this is not
Now, this is another thing, too, I think we can take away from this. And you know how I pioneered, I'm going to own this one. I've been calling this out for years. Black men need to politically divorce black women. I've said openly, I did a whole rant for like 2 hours on this years ago. Black men need to openly vote against black women at this point, right? And the reason why is because, honestly, they have breaking ranks, right? They have breaking ranks with black men. And so you now have to cut the rope. You have to cut the plank off behind them. Let them walk off the plank. Let them walk off into the sunset and then close the door behind them. You have to do that. That's the only way to ever get anything back to order. And this is what I mean. Like, Shiesty Bum's mad at me in the chat. Oh, you want to humble me? I mean, everybody has to get humbled at some point. Life humbles people for the most part. And then you come back to something like reality. They call it maturing. They call it growing up. But I think as long as black men try to partner with black women and their movements, all they want you to do is be a mule. All they want you to do is be like the labor. Carry my pocketbook. That's what they want you to do. Hold my bag, nigga. And so, fine. You have to let them go hold their own bag, and things will work itself out beyond that. It's going to be ugly, What did they say in that Batman movie? It's always darkest before the dawn, right? Joker had that nigga saying wild shit. It's always darkest before the dawn. But that's how it is, bro. You just got to let them suffer for a little while. I believe in equality, which also means I believe in female suffering. That's the price of equality. You got to let them suffer a little bit.
I am so confused. The national Target boycott did not end. So why are all these outlets saying that it did? Let's back up a little bit. A quick Google search will show you two different things started last year. A 40-day Target fast started on March 5th, which was Ash Wednesday. It galvanized the clergy and church community to boycott Target. The national Target boycott started a month earlier on February 1st and has continued without interruption. So the leader of the 40-day fast that ended last April said he's now ending the boycott too.
We have not been able to get all that we have desired, but I am grateful for the strides that we have made.
But the three founders in Minnesota, where Target is headquartered and where the national Target boycott started, say they're still holding the line.
I have never heard of too light skin for Walmart. Let me run that back a little bit. Let's take a look.
That we have made.
She does have a little Latina complexion, no lie. She looks a little Dominican. She does look a little Dominican, no lie. But too light skin for Walmart is a level that I have never heard of before. I didn't realize Walmart did like a paper bag test. That's crazy.
Clergy and church community to boycott Target. The national Target boycott started a month earlier on February 1st and has continued without interruption. So the leader of the 40-day fast that ended last April said he's now ending the boycott too.
We have not been able to get all that we have desired, but I am grateful for the strides that we have made.
But the three founders in Minnesota, where Target is headquartered and where the national Target boycott started, say they're still holding the line.
Don't be fooled. The Target boycott continues. It continues because the demands have yet to be met, and it continues because we are winning.
So the national Target boycott started on February 1st in Minneapolis by Nikema, Jaylani, and Monique. Then a month later, the 40-day Target fast started on March 5th by Pastor Jamal, who is the one now calling for the end of the boycott. But the question remains.
How much are the grapes, Wall Street Willie? Wall Street Willie says they got grapes on sale right now. This nigga walking through the grocery store, he sound high as hell. That's the type of shit you think about when you high. Like, oh, I need 2 pounds of grapes.
How can you end something you admitted you didn't start?
Y'all not gonna like this, but it's things that make you go, And Nikema Levi Armstrong, for historical record, is the one who started the Target boycott. She called for accountability for this Fortune 500 company in the city that Target is located in. The same company that is harboring ICE agents.
How long before Target leaves Minneapolis, by the way? Just like a lot of companies are pulling out of San Francisco, Los Angeles, like companies are just leaving California. Companies have left Chicago. How long before Target pulls out of Minneapolis? Because you niggas just ain't worth the investment no more.
Who is using their parking lots for them to set up. The same organization that pledged $2 billion and still have not turned over the receipts. The same company who the day after the inauguration of President Donald John Trump withdrew its position on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and she's the first one they get arrested? Super bad sister.
I am so confused. The national Target boycott did not end. So why are all these outlets saying that it did? Let's back up a little bit. A quick Google search will show you two different things started last year. A 40-day Target fast started on March 5th, which was Ash Wednesday. It galvanized the clergy and church community to boycott Target. The national Target boycott started
Oh yeah, they really are leaving Minneapolis, huh? I didn't even know that, but it just made sense that like at a certain point you have to remain profitable. And if you can't do that, then what do you have left?
I would be picking up my phone. Jamal, they calling you a two-bit pastor. If I were you, I would be picking up my phone and making a couple of calls.
Look, almost every video that I click on is black women and or black men calling out Pastor Bryant because he took the bag and ran with it. But I'm like, what else was a nigga supposed to do? Y'all wanted this little bullshit DEI jobs program. He was like, nah, listen, let's get some money out this deal and we're going to move on. You know, we're going to find another one, start over. Isn't that the play? He was running the play. He didn't know that the play was out of style. Y'all never told him that he wasn't allowed to run the play.
First of all, taking this video inside of the Target was absolutely diabolical. Now, as you guys already know, yesterday that these three leaders had announced that the Target boycott was over. And there was a lot of confusion on the forefront because nobody remembers that happening. But the original nationwide Target boycott leaders were not having it, and they held their own press conference.
So the question is, why do we think that Pastor, in air quotes, Jamal Bryant tried to hijack the boycott? I would say number one, because he lacks integrity. That's the first reason.
I'm sorry, that made me cackle because she already won me over with the first line. Now, to be very clear, there were two boycotts that were taking place. The boycott that Jamal Bryant had begun was called the Target Fast, and it was only supposed to last about 40 days. But the original boycott, the nationwide one, actually began February 1st during Black History Month. But back on January 31st of this year, Jamal Bryant actually tells you himself who began the boycott.
Nikema Levi Armstrong is an attorney, is the former president of the Minneapolis NAACP. Y'all not gonna like this, but it's things that make you go, And Nikema Levi Armstrong, for historical record, is the one who started the Target boycott.
Straight from the horse's mouth. So if Nikema is the originator of the nationwide Target boycott, why was she not informed about this press conference that Jamal Bryant held? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just going to let Nikema whack him one more time.
By the media, by the men in charge, and throughout our history. And we're not going to let that happen again. We're not going to let a two-bit fake pastor
Listen!
a movement built on the blood, sweat, and tears of the people of the state of Minnesota.
I wonder if this is going to affect Pastor Bryant's church attendance, though. Because you know how the black church is. It's a very woman-centric ecosystem. And the problem with the women-centric ecosystem is that it is characteristically sensitive. It is a very emotionally sensitive bunch by nature, right? Because it's a bunch of women. Will Jamal Bryant start to lose female support from his church now because he's created so much female backlash? Like, I'm not finding a lot of women online giving him any support or defense right now. And then you got Nikema, what's her face up here saying he's a two-bit pastor. Like, it's crazy how y'all loved the hell out of him when he was shitting on Kevin Samuels. And now look at it. Look at how things have changed.
Media, by the men in charge, and throughout our history. And we're not going to let that happen again. We're not going to let a two-bit fake pastor
Listen!
a movement built on the blood, sweat, and tears of the people of the state of Minnesota trying to hold and who have held a hometown company accountable for its actions.
Two-bit is actually hilarious. Jamal, you most certainly dropped the ball here by not informing Nikema as well as the other Minnesota organizers that the boycott was essentially over. And I think you owe them an apology publicly, Jamal.
Y'all, so I used to be an avid Target shopper. I used to go up in Target for some shampoo and setting lotion and some lipstick and come out of there with $150, me and my son. I used to do all of my Christmas shopping for my little boy at a Target. I would find everything before Black Friday and get the same prices they had on Black Friday, or get in the line at Target on Black Friday to get whatever item I wasn't able to get that they had on Black Friday. Within 5-10 minutes of getting in the line, I'd be in the store, getting my item and out the store. I never had a problem Black Friday shopping at Target. I would always be in and out, and Target was always neat and clean, and they was courteous in there, and I always got what I needed out of Target and get on the road. Me and my little boy, we used to hang out in Target. I love to go there. The minute Target flipped, I said, fuck that shit, I'm not going back. So my question is, how is Dr. Bryant, Pastor Bryant, whoever he is, gonna cancel a boycott that I started? I started this boycott. I shopped at Target.
I started this boycott. Oh my God. Where's that clip from Snowfall where he was like, I built this shit, nigga? Oh, she bad. I started this boycott. I built this brick by brick.
You don't got all this shit hanging over my head, but you off trying to start a war with our partners. The nigga dissed me every time I see him, acting like he the one in charge and shit. Compton, he is the one. You lose. Every time you bite with that nigga, I'm the one that pays for it. And you gonna get off his corners? You gonna leave his people be? Or you the one that's gonna find yourself a new club? You don't need that shit. The fuck I don't. I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.
I built this shit, nigga. It's my boycott.
I love to go there. The minute Target flipped, I said, fuck that shit, I'm not going back. So my question is, how is Dr. Bryant, Pastor Bryant, whoever he is, gonna cancel a boycott that I started? I started this boycott. I shopped at Target. I spent my money there. I decided I wasn't going back. And this random man showed up talking, and I was like, who is he? I honestly never heard of him before he said that. And so I said, okay, I put him in the back of my head, and I said, he gonna come out and tell us we can go back to Target and try to take claim and responsibility for this movement, and he gonna be talking, and we ain't gonna like him. And I knew he was gonna pull this shit, because I said that you're not in charge of this boycott. You don't get to say what we doing about it, and you don't get to make up any concessions. So now he's talking about they done gave us 3 of the 4 items. What are 3 of the 4 items if DEI ain't included in that? And y'all not getting that back. And these black women that lost their jobs behind y'all bullshit, holding on and supporting this, getting rid of DEI for the people that work at your store as well, which are a lot of black people, because every Target I went to was full of black people. Especially the one in PG County where my son's grandma took him. So
you got to figure in a place like Prince George's County, Target would be serving a heavily black population, which means Target already has a relationship with black consumers, black men and women. Why are you squeezing Target? You're only making things worse for everybody else who isn't you.
I knew he was going to do this. And for him to be coming in like he's some kind of civil rights leader and he finna help us navigate this, where's the check? Where's the money? Because you said they sent out some money into the black community. I spent a lot of money at Target. So if Target wants me to go back in Target better send me a personal check so that I can go and spend it in Target, because I will not be spending the money that I have in there. Y'all.
But yeah, like I was telling y'all, man, it looks like Pastor Bryant done pulled a fast one. But I can't even be mad at the nigga. Like, how can you be mad at the man who was just running the play that y'all taught him to run? This is the civil rights play. The fact that all these women couldn't get the deal out, but Jamal Bryant got a deal out of it, sounds like a skill issue to me. Y'all got outfoxed by a black man, and that shit burns y'all up. That's all I see here is y'all was just mad that a black man could outmaneuver y'all, outfox y'all, whatever, and there's nothing you can do. Now you're gonna go keep your Target protest on, and like nobody ever cared in the beginning. That's the thing about it. Nobody really cared about your Target protest to begin with, but now what? Now it just looks like there is no real reason to even respect black women protest movements because there is no real off-ramp. There's no end to it. You're just going to be angry and bitter and miserable. It's a completely emotional position. And then there's never enough. Like, this is the problem with things like the reparations movement and all that. It never ends. There is never enough to make bitter, miserable people happy.
I am not encouraging people to go back and shop at Target. It really is a sin and a shame that it took them this long for us to get to this point. I think what the three of us, for a brief moment, let me just speak for the three of us, which is Leader Mallory laid it out, that we came to give an update because the people who participated in this with us all over this country deserved an update and to know where we are.
She sounds like a bitter winner right now, by the way. You're on the winning team. You're doing this press conference next to Pastor Jamal Bryant. Like, they were all at that press conference together, and she sounds like a very bitter winner. And there's one thing you hate in life is a sore winner. Sore losers are bad enough, but a sore winner, God, everybody hates a sore winner, y'all.
Encouraging people to go back and shop at Target. It really is a sin and a shame that it took them this long for us to get to this point. I think what the three of us, for a brief moment, let me just speak for the three of us, which is Leader Mallory laid it out, that we came to give an update because the people who participated in this with us all over this country deserved an update and to know where we are. Based on the update, the history, the information, and the update, people have to decide whether or not Target is worthy enough for you to go back in their stores. I personally, and as Leader Mallory laid out, her mother even saying she's not going back, I'm telling you, I am not going back. And particularly because we are owed a public apology. And so I want to see the Target CEO, just as they quit us publicly, they need to reaffirm their love for us publicly. Ultimately, people have to make their own decision. But as for me and my house, we will not be going back to Target. I am not encouraging.
So there's nothing you can do. But you know what? Before I was going to shut this down, but it just occurred to me, I got to bring one other point up. Let me flesh out another point. Let me bring up some more footage to really draw this point out. And thanks for the support. Shout out to my man Harambe with the $4.99. He says they care about the Target boycott because this is the political attention the 92% wants since they didn't win with Kamala. Now, not only did they not win with Kamala, they have been taking a series of increasingly large L's ever since Trump got in the office, y'all. And it's something I want to talk about before we get this thing wrapped up here. But shout out to my man Harambe. Support the show. Hit that like button, y'all.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
I've been mentioning that throughout this whole stream how the DEI for Black women is effectively a jobs program for the HBCU class, the ethnic studies class. It's a jobs program for a lot of Black women who didn't necessarily study the hard sciences and whatnot. So I want to bring some of that up, and we're going to talk about Black women in the workplace. We're going to maybe segue into a second act, y'all. Hit that like button. We're going to segue into a second act. I'm not going to wrap it up just yet.
Child, I can barely speak again, but y'all know when I saw this and I left, when I saw this, this is definitely something I deem as news. With all due respect, Pastor Bryant, you did not start the Target boycott. Black women did. Therefore, you cannot end it. Don't you hate it when a man comes in after Black women have done all the heavy lifting and acts like they spearheaded some shit and they did it, and therefore they can say, you know, okay, they've paid these organizations. Mine allegedly is one of them too, and so that's enough. So that's enough. Whatever these three out of four things you got that you decided were enough for people to go back and shop at Target. You're not a Black woman, sir. You're not. We're the ones that made Target what Target is. We gave it that name. We made it a safe space for you to come on Saturdays to walk around and browse and spend money that you shouldn't have on shit you don't need and go to Starbucks back before we knew they were genocide bucks. And so, no, you can't say when it ends. We can. And quite frankly, I ain't never going back to Target, because unless Target told you they about to give 300,000 women, the 300,000 plus and counting Black women who lost their jobs because of DEI rollbacks in this country, 6-figure or more jobs, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't care about all this money you talking about. They done sprung around. Because where it's at? Child, I can barely speak again, but y'all know when I saw this.
So you mean to tell me that Jamal Bryant attached himself to something that he had nothing to do with in order to elevate himself? You don't say.
This week, I failed at doing that. When it is that I called for the end of the Target fast, most in our community and culture were disappointed, angry, frustrated, and bewildered.
It's so ironic that this Target fiasco went down literally days after I just said the idea of Black collectivism is silly. This Target boycott just exposed that I was right the whole time. The idea that you're going to get the majority or even most of Black people on one accord to try and do something, it doesn't make logical sense. And once again, this Target situation just proved that. What we have here is a grassroots movement, whether you agree with it or not, and we'll get to that, but whether you agree with it or not, there's a grassroots movement of people who said, you know what, we are going to boycott Target. Then we have someone part of the Black Boule who says, oh, I see that. I'm going to put my own twist and spin on it and claim it as mine to elevate myself. And I'm going to have the Target fast. And I'm going to be all on TV and all on Instagram and all on CNN talking about the Target fast, which is my version of the Target boycott that I did not even start, in order to elevate myself.
Most significant boycott of Black people since the Montgomery bus boycott 70 years ago. The stock market stumbled from $145 a share to $93 a share. They lost $12 billion in valuation. The CEO's salary was.
Look, if it was a successful boycott, then at what point do you claim victory? But remember, they don't care about all the other, quote, tangibles that he achieved. Because that's really, again, that's how the play works, right? He is running the play as it was written. What they're upset about is, one, it was a Black man who got to be the figurehead of it. And then two, because Black women really, really want that DEI jobs program. And shout out to Harambe again with the 199. She's a pro-Black divester.
How do it equivalate?
How does that equivalate? A pro-Black divester, but that's what they are. It's a thing.
Because there are a lot of people in this country who do not like Black women, but Black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
I want to kind of pivot a little bit while I had you guys up here. And let's talk about Black women and this alleged jobs crisis that's happening right now, because in my estimation, I really think that's motivating a lot of the bitterness and the emotionality behind this Target DEI boycott. They really feel as though the DEI jobs program Well, they really do think they need the DEI jobs program. Let's put it like that. And maybe to a certain degree, they are right.
Like being a social worker. So I just want to talk about like being a social worker and now trying to navigate the same systems that our clients navigate. Like I've always been a social worker that's always going to have empathy, you know, all of those things, all of those core competencies. But to be inside the system is something different as a social worker. You see why clients be ready to crash out, because I just left the Department of Labor and it's like, you know, trying to file for unemployment, stuff like that, and you know, trying to get resources for myself and stuff. And it's just like I see why clients be walking away frustrated and then they don't want to do anything, because these systems are designed almost to fail you. Like what I'm seeing, which is very interesting, is that, and I've been seeing it for a while, but it seems like they either want you to be rich or they want you to be poor. There is no middle class. They're trying to do away with the middle class. So you can't get help until you're damn near about to lose your apartment, until you're down bad, really bad, like you damn near gotta be sleeping in your car. And so I'm somebody who trying to be proactive, trying to make sure my finances is good so I don't get to that point. But it's almost like they want you to get to that point before they can help you. And I think seeing it and then, oh, well, we can offer you a food pantry list. Sweetheart, I'm a social worker. I know the food pantry list, but thank you. And I'm not trying to judge other social workers. Like, that's not my intention, but I definitely see how clients could be ready to crash out. Like, I could definitely see it. I can definitely see how clients just be frustrated and then they don't want nothing to do with the system, because it's almost like it's designed to frustrate you. It's designed to almost like so that way you don't get the help because you're so overwhelmed. And so now,
You know what they need to do? They need to play this background music in the welfare office, right? I think it would actually, because I'm over here jamming to Her Misery, and I think it would calm people down if they played this type of background music in the welfare office. People would crash out less. Because I'm really jamming to Her Misery right now. This background music is nice, y'all.
like, I could definitely see it. I can definitely see how clients just be frustrated and then they don't want nothing to do with the system, because it's almost like it's designed to frustrate you. It's designed to almost like so that way you don't get the help because you're so overwhelmed. And so now, being as somebody who works in the system and who is trying to help clients who felt overwhelmed and trying to encourage them, and now kind of being on the other side of that and going through it, I'm like, why did I even come here?
And you know what's crazy? She just found out that she works in adult daycare. You had to be on the other side of the desk to realize how insignificant your contributions are to this giant machine that is the bureaucratic welfare state. And so, like, because I've had that experience myself. This is why I hate going into government facilities, anything beyond the DMV, because the DMV is bad enough. I'm not even pro DMV, but it's one of those things where it's like a function, it's a necessity of regular life. But any type of government welfare program, agency, office type of place, I hate these places. Oh my God, because everybody in there is a part of a government job. They're a part of a government jobs program. The whole thing is an adult daycare program. And she just realized when she was on the other side of the desk, she's like, oh wow, I must really suck. Because I'm looking at you and you're me and you suck. Incredible.
What was the point? What was the point? There's literally nothing y'all can do for me, but I just wasted my gas coming here. So any social workers or anybody who's worked in not-for-profits, you know, tap in, tell me if you've experienced this, client, whoever. Just are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? It's almost like nobody, you know, and I shouldn't be surprised, I'm not, but I just want to bring awareness that not only for myself, but to just like take a deep breath and to just kind of keep the faith, keep anchoring, just keep going, don't stop. So yeah,
don't give up.
Report will explain to you why it's hitting Black women the hardest and why it's hitting them first. Okay, so in a blog post written by the National Partnership for Women and Families, co-authored by Jennifer Mason and Catherine Gallagher Robin, published on February 11, 2026, the unemployment rate is still 6.7%. That is the highest amongst all demographics in the United States. But the big takeaway from this report is even though as we are getting towards the end of Q1 in 2026, Black women amongst all demographics, even though we have the highest unemployment rate in the United States, we have the highest workforce participation rate amongst all demographics of women, and that is at 62.7%. So even though we are losing jobs left and right, we are still finding ways to participate in the workforce and taking care of ourselves and our children.
Sounds like those high-end jobs are shrinking. The corporate and government jobs are disappearing, it sounds like.
And amongst all federal workers, the federal workforce is down 42,000 jobs. And the big takeaway that I want people to understand is we as Black women went into these safe jobs and these safe public sectors because that was a safe place to work. And this was often many Black women, including mine, access to the middle class and creating generational wealth. So with those key takeaways, pay your taxes and support a Black woman working. Bye.
There has to be a secret war against Black women in the workplace. Like, there's no way there isn't, because every Black woman I know is either can't get a job, can't get an interview, or is dealing with a hot ass mess of an environment. It's like the workplace went completely hostile against Black women, which makes no sense because DEI benefited them the most.
And there it is. I'm not the only person who thinks this is what's happening. DEI being removed, especially from the government realm, and then also being rolled back on the corporate realm. It's like Pompeii for Black women right now.
And I don't know, I think it has something to do with them being all up in HR. But I also think it has a lot more to do with the climate that's going on, obviously. But it just seems very wicked and very intentional and very purposeful and very, very calculated. Like they were waiting for this moment and they were waiting to do this to us. It's like, that's what it feels like. It feels as though
they were waiting for this moment. It's like they were out to get you the whole time, right?
But it just seems very wicked and very intentional and very purposeful and very, very calculated. Like they were waiting for this moment and they were waiting to do this to us. It's like, that's what it feels like. It feels as though it's so intentional. Like it's so intentional.
It's intentional. Well, I will tell you this. Through the Democrat Party, Black women effectively were weaponized politically against Trump. And maybe he felt some type of way about that. I don't know. But if you come at the king, you best not miss, y'all. That's how it
Black
goes.
women, the system is rigged. It doesn't matter how many degrees you get. It doesn't matter how many certifications you get. It doesn't matter how qualified you are. It doesn't matter how hard you work. The system is rigged, and it's rigged to work against you. Okay? And the truth of the matter is, the more qualified you are, the more valuable you become to the system in terms of how much of your knowledge and intellectual capital they can keep extracting from you at a rate that's so beneath your worth. And the only solution, the only way out of this is ownership. Now, this is not for y'all that want to argue with me in the comments about how hard entrepreneurship is. Okay, because I'm a Black woman who is educated, okay, and was in human services for over 15 years. I know
Human services, you were in the HR department. 15 years in the HR department. Now, I don't know how much this correlates, but what actual practical business management skills did you learn running the HR department? You're in human services.
okay, and was in human services for over 15 years. I know how hard entrepreneurship is because I've been doing it full time since 2012. But I also know how hard it was on my mind, my spirit, and my physical well being, staying inside of a system that was rigged to work against me deliberately. The decision that I made is a decision that a lot of you are not ready to make, and that's fine. Okay, you can move around. But for those of you who value your life, who value your health, and who value your well-being, who value your intellectual capital.
Hey, shout out to Mesty Michonne with the $4.99. She says hashtag fair use in advance. This is gold. I feel you. You got it. You feel welcome to it. Appreciate y'all coming through. Hit that like button for me.
Give me the money. Give me the money for all that I would do. Give me the money.
And that's fine. Okay, you can move around. But for those of you who value your life, who value your health, and who value your well-being, who value your intellectual capital more than you value a seat at their table and more than you value their paycheck, come to the masterclass on this Saturday. And I want to talk to you about how
She's
you
teaching
need
a
to
class.
stop performing and
Oh, she's teaching a class about how to make money. Damn. And here I thought she was running a business that actually made money. No, she teaches a class about how to make money.
risking your health and risking your wealth and risking your well-being for a system that does not honor your brilliance, and how you need to learn how to take ownership of your intellectual capital, create it into a systematized, productized framework that you can price at the monetary value that it's worth and create a new economy for yourself. Okay? Because you got to choose. You can keep working in their economy.
You need to be a part of the she-economy, girl. See, all this time you were in the economy, which is actually short for he-economy, which means man wins. But what you need to do, girl, is get your money together and invest in this she-economy. Because when you invest in the she-economy, you know that she got your back. And that's what we believe in over here in my How to Be a Rich Bitch training class, is that she always got your back. This is a new grift. I'm just saying. This is a grift to sell classes and shit. She needs to get butts and chairs. That's how you make money as a teaching entrepreneur. You're not a practicing entrepreneur. You're a teaching entrepreneur. And that involves getting butts and chairs, which means you got to do the pitch. This is a whole sales pitch. Here I thought she was talking about Black women in the workplace. No, she's actually running a class right now. This is like an infomercial.
Because new economy for yourself. Okay, because you got to choose. You can keep working in their economy where you're exchanging your value, your brilliance, your intellectual capital for their hours on their clock, or you can come inside of a new economy where your value and your intellectual capital is worth whatever you say it's worth. The choice is yours. The link is in the bio. I'll see you Saturday.
Remember when you used to have to stay up past like 2 o'clock in the morning to watch these type of commercials? Now they're just on your regular TikTok algorithm timeline. You can never get away from the grift now. That's one of the worst parts about the modern internet, is as much as it kind of flattened and widened communication between every individual person, it also opened up your access to a lot of grifting. And so now the sham wow guy is now on your regular algorithm, and you can never escape it. Every time you block that guy, there's another one popping up selling you some bullshit.
The reason why there's over 500,000 Black women that are getting laid off and having a hard time finding a job is because these companies no longer want to deal with any more racism and discrimination cases.
Oh, shit. Tell it to me, sister. Preach, girl. Tell me what's really going on. They don't want to deal with your bullshit.
Black women that are getting laid off and the reason why there's over 500,000 Black women that are getting laid off and having a hard time finding a job is because these companies no longer want to deal with any more racism and discrimination cases. Now, I worked in HR for over 10 years and I was actually let go because I took a look at our budget report and saw the pay differential between our white and black employees.
You was being a problematic bitch. I knew it. That's what happens. You was being a problematic bitch. And of course, it's the HR lady. Why is it always the HR lady? Why does the HR lady have a general reputation for being problematic? Why is it always the HR ladies?
The reason why there's over 500,000 Black women that are getting laid off and having a hard time finding a job is because these companies no longer want to deal with any more racism and discrimination cases. Now, I worked in HR for over 10 years and I was actually let go because I took a look at our budget report and saw the pay differential between our white and black employees, and I exposed everything was ultimately let go. Now, being an HR girly, you're well connected with other women in HR at different companies, and a lot of us had the same experience.
So there's like a whole network of bitter, disenfranchised HR Black women. HR Keishas are linking up. That's what the whole Target boycott was about. It was HR Keishas uniting.
Good women are dead. Evil bitches, rise up!
We will receive a lot of discrimination cases from Black women in leadership positions. Now, keep in mind, these companies were required to maintain a certain amount of Black and brown staff members at one point, and a lot of these women were ending up in management positions. Black women were at the top of their game for a while. But if they began to be a company nuisance, they would do anything to get their ass out of the door.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that you became a problem for your employer and your employer got rid of the problem? That has to be racism. What else could that be but racism, y'all? Damn, white supremacy done struck again, y'all.
And when I say a company nuisance, that means reporting discrimination, reporting racism. As soon as you do it, there is a target on your back. These companies will hold meetings with the top management and HR and say, hey, this person's becoming a company nuisance. They're affecting the company morale. What can we do to shorten their time with this company?
How many corporations had a secret late night off hours HR meeting about a disgruntled Black woman who was becoming problematic at the workplace, right? Because I totally believe this is a thing that has happened. This seems like a very likely situation that is probably replicable across many corporations, right? You just have this, and it's not always a Black woman, because you do have the Karen phenomenon. So between like the Black women, the Karen, and then the chicks who are just sexual liabilities, either they do too much or the men like them too much. One way or another, women can become a problem in the workplace, right? And you have to figure out how to deal with the problem. Sometimes the easiest way to deal with the problem is to just cut it out like a tumor.
At which point we would go through all the policies, procedures, your performance, the company handbook, and see if there is anything that they can do to get your ass up out of there. Things like you might have been able to be 15 minutes late consistently due to traffic before, but now they on your ass about your punctuality. You might have been able to come into.
You can't be consistently late and then complain about your write-up. Even if they give you a grace, just understand you've been 15 minutes late every day. Sooner or later, that will bite you in the ass, I promise you.
The office with a bonnet every now and then because you're having a bad hair day, and now you out of dress code. They would look for little things to just target you to make it seem like you are not performing well on the job. And obviously, we know that it's retaliation. They know that it's retaliation, but good luck proving that it's retaliation. These companies know that only about 2% of retaliation cases are even going to go anywhere. And before it's all said and done, you're probably going to go broke in lawyer fees and probably just get a really small settlement either way, but you still ain't got no job. And you're not going to get a good referral. They're not going to give you a good referral to another company, actually. Now the DEI is over with and they don't have to hire.
She really did just mention bringing your bonnet to work. Let's just stop for a minute here. I have never been a corporate employee. One part of my life, I had a little bit of an internship at an office somewhere doing some data entry. It was cool, but it wasn't for me. And I got to tell you, I don't think bring your bonnet to work day is a part of normal corporate behavior. But you tell me, it's been a while since I've worked in a real office setting. Is bring your bonnet to work day a thing that y'all do?
A certain amount of Black and brown people to keep their shareholders happy. Discrimination cases are way down. They're able to use their HR staff to focus in on other claims and other cases. If they reduce the amount of Black women that they keep in the office, they don't have to deal with the whole angry Black woman stereotype. They don't have to deal with the discrimination cases. They don't have to really deal with the racism cases. And I mean, there are some, but it's a way smaller percentage than it was a couple of years ago.
And cutting back on the DEI programs is also another roundabout way of solving that problem. We're just going to remove all the DEI hires because those are the most problematic people by nature.
And so now when you see all these Black women saying that they're not getting callbacks, they're not able to find a job where it was easy for them just a little while ago, you understand that they wore out that whole discrimination and racism thing with these companies to the point where they are only keeping a very small percentage of Black women, and they have to move a certain type of way to even be able to keep that damn job, because they will replace your ass with a white woman quick as hell.
Not with a white woman. You can replace Keisha with anything but a white woman, y'all.
When I die, I'ma go to Snow Bunny Heaven. Snow Bunny Heaven.
This is why I think that now over 500,000 Black women are now terminated. I think with Kamala Harris getting in office, Black women voters getting that guy in office, Roy Jones or whatever, getting him out of office in Alabama, the country went crazy with just hiring Black women.
Hold on. We gotta run some numbers. Yes. Miss Cantrell, 15 minutes late every day is relatively unheard of. I don't know how you survive as an employee. Now, Kuna Coons is crunching the numbers on that, right? 15 minutes a day over a year is 62 and a half hours missing. That is an entire week of work you've missed. In a year, you've lost a week. That's basically a vacation. A year of 15-minute latenesses every day amounts to a vacation. That's a week off of work. And that already includes the 2 weeks of vacation in the calculation. So you're getting a third week of vacation time for free, effectively. And you probably spent that whole thing in the mirror in the bathroom in the morning being intentionally late for work.
They were hiring Black women that were highly educated. Black women. This is why I think that now over 500,000 Black women are now terminated. I think with Kamala Harris getting in office, Black women voters getting that guy in office, Roy Jones or whatever, getting him out of office in Alabama, the country went crazy with just hiring Black women. They were hiring Black women that were highly educated on paper. They were not hiring Black women that had the soft skills, leadership, knowing how to get along, know how to deal.
Soft skills? I didn't realize Black women needed to have soft skills.
We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it.
What do you mean soft skills? Since when are Black women required to have soft skills? That's that white girl shit. Stop expecting the Black women to be like white women.
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please.
Highly educated on paper. They were not hiring Black women that had the soft skills, leadership, knowing how to get along, know how to deal with conflict in the workplace. They were hiring a lot of Black women that were making the fucking workplace for everybody, Black women, white people, hell, and now those women are being fired.
So because of the DEI programs and all of this excess racial emotional energy that we were constantly feeding to the Black public, you created a Keisha with a chip on her shoulder, Keisha with an attitude. And then you unleashed Keisha with an attitude onto the corporate world at large. And they're like, you know what? We liked it better when it was a lot whiter. And now can you really blame them?
In the workplace, they were hiring a lot of Black women that were making the fucking workplace for everybody, Black women, white people, hell. And now those women are being fired. There are a lot of people out here and people that are hiring things because someone went to Harvard and they went to Yale and they worked for this senator and congressman. They're going to be a good employee automatically. No. There are a lot of people out here that went to Strayer, ITT Tech, ICDC College. They're better employees. They have soft skills. They know how to get along to get along. Schools don't mean shit. Not only do you have to know how to
School don't mean shit. Did she just say that your degree almost doesn't mean anything? Which, to be fair, in the land of the degreed, your degree alone means nothing, right? Because everybody got a degree. Everybody done risen up to that level of accomplishment and success where everybody done went to college. Everybody has their Cornell sweater, their Howard sweater, their Duke sweater. Everybody got that little triangular flag shit in their college, in their office wall. Everybody got a degree. So you having your degree means nothing, which is what the niggas that you be fucking try to tell you anyway. Your degree don't mean shit.
work for this senator and congressman, they're going to be a good employee automatically. No. There are a lot of people out here that went to Strayer, ITT Tech, ICDC College. They're better employees. They have soft skills. They know how to get along to get along. Schools don't mean shit. Not only do you have to know how to be a good employee, it's important to know how to be a good coworker. You cannot make life hell for your team. You have to know how to be a good employee, and you have to know how to be a good coworker. Nobody wants to come to work. You spend 40 hours a week at work, sometimes more. Nobody wants to come to work each time it's a conflict. I'm an educated black woman, a black woman this. Nobody wants to.
Why does it sound very much like relationship and dating complaints I'm hearing? Like the niggas, the people that you work with shouldn't hate you for the exact same reasons that the people that you sleep with hate you. That sounds like a very odd overlap. Like I'm hearing a lot of the same dating gender war complaints coming out of this woman here. And she's describing what I was saying earlier about the DEI thing. A lot of the women seems like they were just given adult daycare promotion type jobs where they didn't actually have to perform. They didn't even have to be well liked around their peers, which actually goes a long way in any workplace. And because you can't survive without the DEI jobs, you're crying about the DEI jobs because, like this woman right here says, your degree doesn't really mean anything. You don't have the soft skills. You're not likable. Nobody wants to work with you.
Hear that where they spend 40 hours a week. You have to know how to get along. Sometimes people consciously and unconsciously are going to say shit that may offend you. Sometimes there are grown people that just don't know better that what they said was racist. But how do you respond to it? Conflict is going to happen in the workplace.
Oh, you mean to tell me you might actually have to deal with awkward, uncomfortable situations without chimping out? No. I don't think I could do it.
What they said was racist. But how do you respond to it? Conflict is going to happen in the workplace. I'm not excusing it. But do you know how to tactfully respond in the workplace when there's conflict? I would actually say knowing how to be a good coworker is more important than knowing how to be a good employee. I'm not against black women. I'm against black women thinking that education from the same racist as white institutions makes them better or qualified for anything. This is why.
Damn. As much game as she was spitting, she still had to take a shot at white supremacy, y'all.
I'm not against black women. I'm against black women thinking that education from the same racist as white institutions makes them better or qualified for anything.
And I was almost on her team, but there you go. You just had to tie it together because you still, black girl fist in the air. I ain't even mad at you. Stay on your team, shorty. Stay on your team. Be a part of your gang. That's how it is, right? But I think that's really the problem at hand here. When we get back to this whole Target, DEI, boycott, at the heart of it, they don't really give a shit about Target supporting black businesses directly. They don't care which black products make it onto Target's shelf. They don't care about Target selling shea butter shampoo. They don't give a shit about shea butter products, right? Really, what they care about is the DEI jobs program. Because make no mistake, more than anything, what the DEI program is a jobs program for the the ethnic studies college educated crowd. Target is always going to hire poor black and brown women. They're cheap labor already. What you wanted was a spot in Target's corporate environment. You wanted to be in part of Target's corporate ecosystem, and that requires a DEI jobs program. Target rolled that back, and you've been crying ever since. And to be fair, the government and a lot of corporations have rolled it back, which, like I said, seems to be at the heart of Black women's alleged employment crisis. But I think that's pretty much the show for today. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank y'all so much for watching the show. Hit that like button as you make your way out of here. Like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you guys on the next one. And yeah, it looks like I'm about done with this one. So I appreciate y'all coming out. Thank y'all for watching. We'll be back with another one. I might come back later on with another show today, but most likely tomorrow. But either way, I'll catch you guys later.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help Black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.